From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Headliners. I'm Elliot Rodriguez. Over the course of the last week, some of President Donald Trump's new executive actions are causing serious concerns for families in South Florida. Our reporter Yvonne Taylor spent the week talking to church, community, civic leaders and others about the new changes to immigration policy. 18 states have filed lawsuits over the president's orders seeking to get rid of birthright citizenship. CBS News Miami's Yvonne Taylor talked to an undocumented woman who gave birth to her daughter here in the U.S.
We talked to a mother, and we also talked to an expert, because we want to address that the Trump administration executive order is directing the federal government to stop issuing passport, birth certificates, as well as other documents to children who were born from mothers who did not enter the U.S. legally. Elisa Menjivar is a Salvadorian mother who entered the U.S. illegally in 2015. When my daughter was born 4 years later, I was not legal yet, said Menjivar, who acted rather shocked about the executive order signed by President Trump. The 14th Amendment says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. If they were to take the citizenship from my daughter, that would affect me and millions like me. We mentioned to her the alleged notion that some immigrants may come to have babies in the U.S. That's not true, she replied. I fell in love with her dad 2 years after I came here. I was not planning on becoming a mother.
No law can be applied retroactively if it's going to give you a negative impact into the future. How would they do it?
What is the likelihood that an executive action will make a difference on a constitutional amendment?
Zero. He'll be challenged. You need congressional action and you need state action.
And speaking of which, a coalition of 18 Democratic state attorneys filed a lawsuit today against the Trump administration. There you have them on the screen, the 18 states. The lawsuit was filed in Massachusetts. They seek to stop President Trump's executive order that seeks to eliminate birthright citizenship. We are following the story, and definitely we will have more for you in the following days. We are in Southwest Miami-Dade. Yvonne Taylor, CBS News, Miami.
The Trump administration is doing away with a long-standing policy to avoid immigration arrests in sensitive spaces. That means federal immigration agents will have free rein to go into schools and churches and take people into custody. CBS News Miami's Yvonne Taylor has more for us from downtown Miami.
Miami's Archbishop Thomas Wensky tells me that this is all an exaggeration of the new administration seeking to instill fear. See, for 13 years, certain venues like schools, churches, and hospitals have been considered sensitive places. That means no raids would occur there, but that has just changed.
Churches are private property, and you can't break into a church without a warrant. That's the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution.
And that is how Miami Archbishop is addressing the recent announcement of the Trump administration. It said federal immigration agencies would be allowed to make arrests at churches, schools, and hospitals, ending a policy that had been in effect since 2011.
As Commander-in-Chief, I have no higher responsibility than to defend our country from threats and invasions, and that is exactly what I am going to do.
Since Monday, President Trump announced his war on illegal immigration. 24 hours later, it's been interpreted by these organizations as a frightening campaign against undocumented families.
Everyone has the right to refuse to answer questions about their immigration status.
The Florida Immigration Coalition also referred to the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution, saying that everybody is protected regardless of their status.
An immigration officer cannot detain you without reasonable suspicion. You do not have to open the door unless you have been shown a warrant signed by a judge. And again, that warrant can be slipped under the door or shown through a window. Always ask who is at the door before you open it, and certainly do not allow children to open the door.
I think that it's inhumane.
The president of the United Teachers of Dade, Carla Hernandez-Matz, who heads the third largest union of teachers in the nation, tells me raids in schools would lead to a lifelong trauma for children.
To try to negatively impact and harm children who are innocent, who are in classrooms, that can be traumatized by the effects of raiders coming into their school system.
We discussed with her that President Trump said he would no longer divide families. They would be sent back with their children, even if born in the U.S.
It's going to create a situation where a lot of kids are going to just stop coming to school because parents are going to be too scared of bringing them to school.
No raids have occurred in the state of Florida so far, and activists for immigrants tell me that they have no information of any similar activities by federal agents. They are urging the community, especially those in fear, to contact the Florida Immigrant Coalition, and they can do it by calling the number 888-600-5762. We are in downtown Miami. Ivan Taylor, CBS News, Miami.
Now to a message from the widow of a road ranger killed on New Year's Day while helping a stranded motorist on I-95. The message comes during Move Over Awareness Month. The law requires drivers to move over for any disabled car on the side of the road. CBS News Miami Steve Majiri has her message to all drivers.
Stacy Myers-Para says the best memories she has left of her husband Jose are in these photos. Each one tells her something about him.
His personality, his smile. Life's not the same.
She remembers saying goodbye to him before he left for work as an FDOT ranger on New Year's Eve. Police say LaToya Hayes was intoxicated behind the wheel around 3 a.m. and lost control of her car and caused a 5-car pileup. Hayes is facing over 20 different charges. We reached out to her defense attorney, but have not heard back.
It's sunk in knowing that I can't wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and see him anymore. A promise that he was coming home turned into him not coming home.
January is Move Over Awareness Month, but Stacy is reminded of it every time she looks at the last photo she took with her husband. Florida Highway Patrol is using Jose's story to raise awareness about the Move Over law. Troopers also brought up how Road Ranger Terry Blum died after being hit by a vehicle on I-95 in Port St. Lucie in November.
In both of these crashes, the unfortunate loss of life was 100% preventable.
Stacy hopes her husband's story can be a reminder that this can happen to anyone who works on the highways in Florida. Florida Highway Patrol says they issued about 17,000 citations for move-over violations last year, and about 170 crashes still happened. They say that if you can't move over, you should slow down at least 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. In Pembroke Pines, Steve Majiri, CBS News, Miami.
All right, when we come back, retirement on your mind? We take a look at when the best time may be to call it a career. That's next.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Welcome back. I'm Elliot Rodriguez. Historically black neighborhoods in Miami-Dade County now have the green light to find out if it's fiscally smart to incorporate into a city. Residents are hoping their history doesn't get lost and also that it doesn't cost too much money. CBS News Miami's Chelsea Jones explains how one neighborhood is planning to tackle it.
The County Commission voted to extend the North Central Dade Municipal Advisory Committee so communities like here in Brownsville, Gladeview, Twin Lakes, and others could study and see if it's cost effective to become their own city.
This is a little slice of Miami-Dade County. Drone 4 gives you a view from above of Brownsville, one of the county's unincorporated communities. Residents are hoping that one day it might be put on the map as its own city.
If we can do it, that'd be great.
Kenneth Kilpatrick is the president of the Brownsville Neighborhood Civic Association and has been advocating for the preservation of the place he calls home. And he's not alone.
To change it to a Hialeah or to something else, I'd rather preserve the history.
Hialeah attempted to annex Brownsville back in 2023, but opted not to because of residents fighting to keep it intact.
One thing we do know is that we don't want to be annexed.
The Miami-Dade County Board of Commission voted 11-1 to reinstate the advisory board that will allow residents of this community and others to figure out if incorporation makes financial sense. With information provided by the county, residents hope to learn what the land value is, what municipal services like police and fire rescue would look like, and how much those things would cost. Pedro Rodriguez's tire business has been rolling along successfully for 8 years. He says the potential for higher taxes isn't something he supports.
I wouldn't like the idea because, it's been good, but not excellent. I can't afford to pay more taxes.
Neighboring communities like Gladeview are watching and waiting to see if Brownsville will have success.
So we all have the same issues like illegal dumping, things like that.
Is that something that you believe incorporation could help with?
It could.
Right now, there is no timeline on when the study for Brownsville will be completed, but Kilpatrick tells me he hopes it won't take more than 2 years. In Northwest Miami-Dade, I'm Chelsea Jones, CBS News, Miami.
Well, it's a rite of passage most of us start thinking about long before the day arrives when to retire. The median retirement age in the U.S. is 62, with nearly 6 in 10 retirees saying they stopped working sooner than they had planned. I spoke to one couple and an expert on what to do to make sure you enjoy your golden years.
I do miss the friends, and I do miss what I did at work. I miss that a lot, but retirement is fabulous.
I met Dan and Judy Cowan at their Kendall home that they share with their 2 cats, Tova and Wishbone.
Oh, here, look at
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God, you've trained her.
The Cowans retired 16 years ago. Judy was a classroom teacher. Dan worked for Miami-Dade County. They're among the lucky ones with pensions to fund their retirement, vacations, and trips to visit grandchildren. Those monthly pension checks have made their golden years more enjoyable.
In the beginning, that was a little scary, but it's fabulous. I have stuff to do every day. I don't think I'm ever bored.
We really didn't know with both our incomes being cut so much, but we're both so incredibly grateful to have a pension, which I know a lot of young people don't have.
So you're among the lucky ones.
Very fortunate.
Not that many people these days have pensions.
No.
Oh, it's true.
Besides their pensions, the Cowans rely on Social Security, which can be taken as early as age 62, but there's a catch. If you take Social Security at 62, you get less money and you're penalized if you continue working. If you take it at full retirement age, between 66 and 67, depending on when you were born, you'll get a bigger monthly benefit and no penalties if you still work. At age 70, you get your highest monthly benefit. Financial advisor Charles Sachs says waiting until at least full retirement age is worth it.
Generally speaking, we recommend at least waiting to your full retirement age. That for most people these days is age 67.
And that way you can get Social Security and still work and not be penalized.
Exactly right, yes.
According to the Vanguard Group, 3.6% of Americans dipped into their retirement savings in 2023 compared to 2.8% in 2022. Dipping is generally considered a financial no-no.
You have that installed capital base, so anytime you dip into that, that means less dollars working for you for your future. So one needs to be very careful when they look to dip into that nest egg that they've built up.
The Cowans dipped into their retirement savings, but having 2 pensions eased the financial pain. Would you guys be able to have this lifestyle if it hadn't been for your pension, if you were living only on Social Security?
Oh, absolutely not. We would have had to move out of Miami. No, seriously, we would have possibly moved to a place like out of the country, Panama, where we would be able to get by on Social Security. We would not have any.
So you're thankful for that pension?
Unbelievably thankful for that pension.
They're very thankful for those pensions. Well, it's important to remember that Social Security was never meant to be a full retirement plan for seniors. It was designed to keep senior citizens out of poverty, but it won't pay for the lifestyle you may be accustomed to. That's why experts say make sure to contribute to your 401k or other retirement account and that you're taking advantage of matching contributions from your employer. And when we come back, see a nonprofit's mission of touching Miami with love. You won't want to miss it.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Welcome back. I'm Elliot Rodriguez. In this week's Miami Proud, we shine the spotlight on the nonprofit Touching Miami with Love. For nearly 30 years, Touching Miami with Love has been serving the needs of people in Overtown and in West Homestead, serving nearly 400 students every day. CBS News Miami's Naja Sherman shows us how the group is changing lives.
Touching Miami with Love is a safe haven for communities in Overtown and West Homestead. CEO Trina Harris explained to me their goal is to guide children and youth spiritually, intellectually, and emotionally, and reduce the cycles of poverty by providing opportunities for economic mobility.
We're teaching young people how to be self-sufficient and learning the skills of business development.
21-year-old Jakaya Harris has been taking part in the programs offered by Touching Miami with Love since she was in elementary school, and it's where she developed her love of cooking.
This experience, it kind of like helped me figure out what I wanted to do growing up. I've seen like them always helping, feeding everybody and making sure everybody was okay. And I got into the passion of cooking.
Now she's an intern with the youth program and giving back.
It feels great to be a role model to kids that look up to me, to tell them don't go that direction.
Harris just received a culinary certification through a program introduced to her through Touching Miami with Love. For single mother Destiny George, the nonprofit has been a safe haven for her and her 5-year-old daughter, Rain. George told me she has been taking parenting classes while her daughter is involved in several of the educational programs. This is a picture of a field trip the two took together to Legoland through Touching Miami with Love.
Extremely grateful. Extremely grateful. It's not easy on your own, and I won't pass it off as being easy on your own, so this has taken a large load off of what my mind was already struggling with.
All of the programs are free to people and youth in the community who want to utilize the services. For Harris, it's a labor of love.
This is peopling work. This is God's work. It's one of those things where being able to share the love of Christ by building relationships, being in community, that is my joy. That is the heart of what we do here at Touching Miami with Love.
And you can join Touching Miami with Love as it partners with the Underline's first ever 5K charity run in February. It will highlight the transformation of downtown Miami's urban core into a dynamic community space. For more information, just go to our website, cbsmiami.com. Najla Sherman, CBS News Miami.
And finally, it was the story making headlines across the nation. Snow in Florida, believe it or not. CBS News Miami's Shane Hinton was there this week to show us the snowy weather some North Floridians got to see in their backyards.
Well, the storm has moved out of Panama City, but the people here are still dealing with the icy aftermath of a historical winter weather event. People in the Florida Panhandle are dealing with the icy aftermath of the historic winter storm, which moved through the Gulf Coast on Tuesday. Streets remain slick and most businesses are closed.
Yeah, we just got to Publix. Online it says it opened at noon. Everybody's kind of waiting around. Doors are still locked.
31 school districts across the state were closed today due to winter weather. Among the many records breaking Tuesday, parts of Pensacola, Florida logged 7.5 inches of snow. Near Milton, Florida, the state snowfall record is shattered with a total of 9.8 inches of snow. While the numbers and statistics surrounding this winter storm are incredible, it was getting to experience it in person, which will go down in the memories of the people of Panama City.
Wild, to say the least. I moved down to Florida for the lovely hot weather and gorgeous beaches, and it's not often that I could look outside and see a snowstorm. It's odd. But still kind of cool, actually. It's like, oh, I was here.
And it certainly is still quite the sight to behold, but the dangerous conditions aren't over with just yet. Any ice and snow that wasn't able to completely melt away throughout the day today will freeze overnight tonight as temperatures drop into the teens. Reporting from Panama City, I'm next weather meteorologist Shane Hinton, CBS News, Miami.
Snow on a beach in Florida. Now I have seen it all. And thank you for joining us this half hour in Headliners. As always, keep it right here to CBS News Miami for up-to-the-minute breaking news and weather 24 hours a day. Make it a great day.